Hi, welcome back. So this is another video from Information Security Strategy Solutions. Now the data deletion in the cloud. Now the data has got a life cycle in IT, and we create it, we actually transfer it, we store it, we use it, we back it up, and then we archive it, and finally we delete it. Yeah, this is my case 7. Yeah, so finally we delete it. Now, when you look at the cloud, okay, in fact, we'll be discussing about the data life cycle in detail on how it happens on a cloud. But when you look at it in detail, okay, how the data deletion is actually handled in the cloud. Now, data deletion is very much required. Okay, it is going to be an very important control that you're going to have for GDPR or any of the security compliances and the privacy compliances, including ISO 27701, the PIMS. Now, the data deletion on a cloud is much different from how it's going to happen on the conventional or traditional on-premises physical host. How is it? So the data deletion is actually done on the physical host by using what is called as zeroization. Zeroization, otherwise known as overwriting. If I'm going to overwrite multiple times with a scrambled data or with a junk data, or if I'm going to overwrite multiple times with zero, overwriting multiple times with zero is actually called a zeroization, and with a non-zero data, it's actually called as overwriting. So you're going to overwrite multiple times, then it's going to be effective. This could also be one of the solutions for deleting the data, rather make the data non-readable on a cloud. Yeah. Now coming on to AC degaussing and DC degaussing, this is also methodology for the physical host. So degaussing is subjecting the hard disk to a powerful magnetic field. If you want to use an alternate current, it's actually called as an AC degaussing. If you're going to use a direct current, it's actually called as a DC degaussing. So this makes the hard disk non-readable, subjecting the hard disk to the powerful magnetic field. Now on a cloud, this could not be possible because our data is actually not stored on a single disk. Okay, it's going to be spread across multiple disk units. Now, in this case, we actually don't know which disk to actually pull out and subject that to an AC or DC degaussing. So this is actually ruled out. The next one, the physical destruction. Physical destruction or physical hard disk shredding is a way to destroy the data if it's going to be on a single host, physical host. Now on a cloud, this is not possible as well because we actually don't know which disk units we should pick it up and then subject that to shredding. And this will also impact the data belonging to another customer due to multi-tenancy nature of the cloud. So the AC degaussing, DC degaussing, physical destruction, or physical hard disk shredding is not actually possible for the cloud environment. Now, what is then possible for the cloud environment is otherwise called the crypto shredding. Now, what is the crypto? Crypto comes under the encryption. Encryption is a methodology by which you convert a plain text to a ciphertext. That means a human readable form to a human non-readable form. Okay, human non-readable form. It looks like a junk of the data. Now, to implement the encryption, we have a lot of videos on the cryptography. Okay, in our channel, you can subscribe and you can actually watch it. Now, if you want to encrypt a plain text to a ciphertext, we need to have an algorithm with a step-by-step instruction to convert the plain text to a ciphertext, and a key. Key is a crypto variable, and you also need what is called the initialization vector. So let's not discuss about the initialization vector, number ones or nuns or solve to make this discussion a bit complex. But if you are interested in going deep into the cryptography, I would request you to watch my other videos on the same subject. Now, coming on to what is called the crypto shredding. So we need a plain text, we need an algorithm, we need a key, and we get a ciphertext. Algorithm, as I said, is step-by-step instruction to convert the plain text to a ciphertext. Key is a crypto variable. Smaller the key, faster is your encryption and easy to break your crypto system. Okay, and this is we discussed about the key size and the key space, etc. In one of the videos of the cryptography. Now, if the key is strong or long, okay, it takes a lot of time to encrypt. It takes a lot of time to decrypt also. Okay, Now, encryption and decryption becomes possible only if there's a key. Supposedly, I encrypt the plain text to a ciphertext, and I purposefully destroy the key. Then the ciphertext becomes something which you cannot convert this to plain text at all because the key is lost. If the key is lost, you cannot convert the ciphertext to a plain text as easy. Yeah, for example, there are calculations that you can actually see on the internet, and then you can understand if the key size is large, and if you're going to use one key per 1 millisecond or microsecond, okay, how long it takes to do a reverse engineering or do a decryption, okay, by a brute force. Okay, there are algorithms that takes 40 years, there are algorithms that takes more than 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, etc. Okay, the same algorithm for different key size, because AES comes with 128, 192, and 256. So looking at the AES with the key size of 256, you know it's much more powerful, and it is difficult to convert encrypted text to an plain text without the key. Even if you're going to do a brute force, it becomes 2 to the power of 256. So you can get that number and then get the you can divide that by the microsecond or millisecond, whatever it is, and get to know how many years it actually takes to convert your ciphertext to a plain text. Now, there's something called the usefulness of the data. Supposedly, the bank has got the data which is for the credit card for the customers or debit card for the customer, and debit card, credit cards, etc., is valid only for 5 years. Okay, this is actually called as an covered time. So covered time is the number of years or the period that you want the security to be in place. Now, if you want to have the encryption key or the crypto variable, okay, just enough to uncover the data or decrypt the data with a brute force, let's say in 7 years or 8 years, the hacker is going to subject this ciphertext to a brute force and look at the data. The data is actually useless, where the credit cards are all expired already. Okay, so we need to consider a lot of parameters when we actually go for encryption. Now, coming on to this particular discussion of crypto trading, supposedly you are moving yourself from one cloud service provider to other cloud service provider. Now, you can question your data when you are actually going to move it from one CSP to other CSP. Your cloud service provider, usually, it is a reputational impact if they're going to actually look into your data. Okay, so they will not do it in case, because we need to comply with the regulation. In case you stumble upon a situation where you need to move your data from one CSP to other CSP, or you want to retain your cryptography, or you want to retain your data for a long time, and you're worried that somebody might look into your data, like a malicious insider, one of the risks that has been highlighted by the NIST. So what you can actually do is you can encrypt the data on the cloud, okay, and that ensures that if the person the subject who's going to look into the data does not have access to the key, he cannot actually look into the data. Now, if you want to delete the data on a cloud, so we know that the physical hard disk shredding is actually not possible. AC or DC degaussing is actually not possible. What you can actually do is you can encrypt the data on your cloud with a powerful algorithm and then larger key, AES 256, the better algorithms as well. Okay, if you look at the there are 5 algorithms that were contenders for advanced encryption standard. You can pick up any one of those. A larger key, okay, let's say 256, and you encrypt the data, and then you destroy this particular key. This is as equivalent as deleting your data on a cloud. Okay, and the hacker or any unauthorized access to that particular data, it's not possible. It is possible, but they cannot comprehend what exactly it is. They'll be looking at the encrypted data. Even if they want to pick up the data and then decrypt it using a brute force, they cannot do it in their lifetime. Okay, this is deletion of the sensitive data on the cloud. So whenever you move your data on the cloud and that is sensitive, so ideally I would recommend to have an sensitive data on premises, but if you have decided to move all the data to the cloud, okay, complying with the recommendations, the cloud first, Okay, I mean, most of the governments in the world, you can encrypt your data on the cloud and destroy the key. This is as equivalent as deleting the data on the cloud. Okay, this is actually called as a crypto shredding. Thanks for watching this video and stay connected by subscribing to my channel. Okay, take care then. Cheers. Bye-bye. All the best.